Okay, let's dive right in. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This is where we take, a whole heap of source material, articles, notes, research, and basically pull out the gold for you, the most vital, interesting bits.
Yeah, we try to cut through the noise, give you the key insights, make it engaging, hopefully.
Exactly, we're your shortcut to getting up to speed.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're tackling something, well, fundamental, especially if you're in postgraduate studies or thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about choosing your thesis topic, which sounds simple, maybe, but it's huge.
It really is. And for this deep dive, we're leaning heavily on some excellent content from the Academic Practices Instagram account. They've laid out a way to think about this decision that really elevates its importance.
Oh, absolutely. Elevates is the right word. They actually call it the most critical step of your academic journey.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And get this, the first building block of your academic identity. That really makes you stop and think, doesn't it?
It does. It shifts it from just, picking a subject for a project to something much more, identity forming, strategic. It crowns your whole postgraduate education, they argue, and could even shape your career.
It totally reframes it. It's not just another assignment. It demands serious thought, real strategy.
Way beyond just browsing a list of titles.
For sure.
Yeah.
So the source breaks this big decision down into 10 key things to consider. We're going to walk through these, pull out the main ideas, hopefully give you a clearer path forward. Ready?
Let's do it. These points kind of build on each other, so starting at the top makes sense. Point one.
Point one. And the source is really emphatic about this. Choose a topic that genuinely interests you.
Sounds almost too obvious, right? Pick something interesting. But they dig into why this is so critical. I mean, think about the time scale here. A thesis isn't quick. It takes months and sometimes years of effort and intense intellectual labor. That's a direct quote. Intense labor.
Right, exactly. This isn't something you can just cram for. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And if you're not genuinely fascinated, deeply interested, that marathon becomes, torture.
Yeah, motivation just evaporates.
Exactly. The source says interest is the most important factor for motivation. It keeps the research feeling worthwhile, maybe even enjoyable sometimes.
Hopefully.
And it helps prevent that awful burnout that can just stop you in your tracks. They even give you some pointed questions to ask yourself.
Oh, yeah, like what?
Things like, am I willing to research and discuss this topic for an extended period of time? Really forces you to consider the long haul. And also, what subjects excite me the most when reading academic articles? Or which topics make me think or mentally engage me deeply? It's about finding what really lights your fire intellectually, not just what seems kind of cool on the surface.
So starting with that deep, genuine interest that's your fuel tank, non-negotiable.
Totally.
But okay, personal passion is one thing. Academia requires more, right?
Yeah.
Point two shifts the focus outwards. Focus on topics that can contribute to the academic field.
Right. This is where your personal project has to become part of a larger conversation. The source puts it clearly. A thesis should contribute to the literature. It needs to bring something new to the table.
Something new, like an original idea.
Or a different take.
Yeah, exactly. An original angle or a new perspective, as they put it. Within your specific field, of course.
So it's not enough just to summarize what everyone else has said, even if you do it really well and you're super interested.
Nope. That's the tricky part. You've got to find a way to nudge the boundary of knowledge forward, even just a tiny bit.
Okay, how do you figure out if your idea does that?
Well, the source suggests a process. First, you got to review who has previously worked on the topic, see what's already out there.
Understand the current state of play.
Precisely. Then ask the big questions. What questions remain unanswered? And crucially, is there a gap or contradiction in the literature? Finding that gap, that inconsistency, that's your entry point. That's where you can make a mark.
Ah, the famous gap in the literature. Every supervisor mentions that. It's classic advice for a reason. And the source stresses that finding this gap isn't just academic navel-gazing. It stops you from, accidentally redoing a study someone just published.
Right, avoids wasting months of work.
And it boosts the potential impact of your own research. So you're balancing that inner passion with the outer needs of your discipline.
Okay, passion, check. Contribution, check. Point three hits us with a dose of cold, hard reality. Evaluate the accessibility of resources and data.
Yeah, this is a big one, the practical hurdle. The source makes a really good point. A fantastic topic is useless if you actually can't study it.
Like the materials just aren't there.
Exactly. Lack of sources, or maybe the specific data you need for your qualitative or quantitative analysis just isn't accessible to you.
So you might have this brilliant research question about, say, ancient scrolls.
Uh-huh.
But the scrolls are locked in a private vault you can't get into.
Or the data set you need costs thousands of dollars you don't have. It happens. So the advice is, do that literature review, yes, but also use it to check whether there are sufficient academic sources available.
Can you actually build your case?
Right. And critically, ask yourself, do you have access to institutions, individuals, or platforms from which you can collect the necessary data? You need to be really honest about this early on.
Makes sense. Practical constraints are real. Okay, point 4 brings in the human element, which is often huge. Do not overlook compatibility with your supervisor.
Oh, this is so important. Your supervisor is, as the source puts it, your most important guide through this whole process.
Yeah, you work with them so closely for so long.
And if there's a mismatch, maybe they aren't really into your topic, or their research style clashes with yours, or you just don't click, that can lead to, well, friction, disagreements, and it can seriously dent your motivation.
I could totally see that.
Uh-huh.
If your main guide isn't really on board or doesn't have the right expertise,
It makes everything harder. Their feedback might miss the mark, or they might even try to steer you in a direction that doesn't feel right for the project.
so what's the actionable advice here?
Do your homework on potential supervisors, the source says. Review your supervisor's previous theses, publications, and areas of expertise. See what they actually work on, what their former students did.
Get a feel for their interests.
Exactly. And then, crucially, if possible, discuss your topic with your supervisor beforehand and get feedback. That early chat is gold. They can tell you if it's a good fit, maybe suggest refinements or flag problems you hadn't seen.
Good advice. Find someone who's a genuine match. Okay, point 5 feels related to the resource point, but broader. Choose realistic and feasible topics.
Yeah, this zooms out a bit. It's about balancing that cool academic idea with what you can actually pull off. The source really pushes you to think about constraints, your available time, budget, and technical capabilities.
Right. It's tempting to propose something massive, like solving world hunger in your MA thesis.
Yeah, exactly. Ambition is great, but you need to ground it. Can you really do this project as one person with limited time and maybe limited funds?
Need that reality check.
Definitely. The source suggests specific feasibility checks, like, will you be able to gain the necessary access for fieldwork if required? If you need to get into a company or talk to a specific group, is that actually likely?
Or even possible.
Right. And also, can the scope and scale of the topic be completed within a limited time frame? Be brutally honest with yourself about what's doable.
Interest, contribution, resources, supervisor fit, feasibility. Okay, that's a lot already. Point 6 circles back a bit. Start your literature review early.
We touched on this for resources, but it's worth emphasizing as its own point. Doing this digging before and during the topic selection process protects you from potential surprises.
Surprises like finding out your unique idea was the subject of someone else's PhD last year.
Exactly that. Or finding out the key data you plan to use just doesn't exist or it's flawed.
Finding that out early saves so much pain later.
Oh, massively. Saves time, saves frustration. The source suggests where to look the usual suspects. Google Scholar, ProQuest, National Thesis Center, DurgiPark, Web of Science, Scopus. Keep searching these regularly.
Stay on top of the field.
Yeah. And pay attention not just to what people studied, but how. The source says pay close attention to the methods and findings of similar studies. That can really help you refine your own approach.
Okay, good practical tip. Now, point 7 shifts our gaze forward, beyond the thesis itself. Align your thesis topic with your career goals.
This is a really strategic angle. It's easy to just focus on getting the thesis done, fulfilling the requirement.
Right, just get the degree.
But the source argues your topic can also influence the direction of your career. Your thesis isn't just a paper, it's like a major calling card. It showcases what you can do, what you're interested in.
So it's kind of like building your professional brand, even this early.
In a way, yeah, it's a chance to position yourself. And the advice is tailored. If you're aiming for academia, they say pick a publishable topic with strong methodological foundations, something that could become a journal article. Build your research profile.
Makes sense. What about outside academia?
Then focus on topics that offer practical value and may interest potential employers. Your thesis becomes proof you can tackle relevant problems, apply knowledge practically. It's a portfolio piece.
That's smart. using the thesis strategically for whatever comes next. Point 8 gets a bit more, maybe, theoretical. Ensure the conceptual and theoretical framework can be established.
Yeah, this is about the intellectual backbone of your thesis. It's not just about gathering facts or data. You need to interpret those findings through an existing academic lens. The source says a good topic needs a clear conceptual and theoretical framework.
So what theories or big ideas from your field are you using to make sense of your topic? Like, are you using economic models or sociological theories or maybe a specific historical interpretation?
Exactly. It's the foundation for your analysis. It gives your work depth. The source warns that topics without this theoretical grounding reduce the depth of the study. They can end up just describing things, here's what I found, rather than explaining why it matters or what it means in the bigger picture.
So it prevents it from being just a report.
Right. It makes it analytical. The advice is to consider the key concepts and theories that will support your topic from the very beginning. Think about where your idea fits in the existing academic landscape.
Gotcha. Elevates the analysis. Point 9 brings us crashing back to earth. Consider time management and submission deadlines.
Yep, the clock is always ticking. No matter how great your idea is, you have a deadline. The source is direct. Time limits mean you simply can't cover everything. You have to plan your time wisely and shape your topic accordingly.
So that grand plan to study the entire history of something probably needs trimming.
Almost certainly. Scope is key. The source gives tips for managing it. If the topic's too broad, simplify it by breaking it down into subheadings. Focus on one piece.
Slice it thinner.
Yeah. Or, if necessary, focus on a specific region's sector or subpopulation. Instead of global, go local. Instead of all industries, pick one. Make it manageable within the time you actually have.
Crucial for actually finishing.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, point 10. This one feels important for sanity. Allow room for flexibility.
Yes. Research is rarely a straight line. Your ideas will likely evolve. You'll read more, you'll get data you didn't expect, your supervisor will give feedback. Things change. The source says being flexible is a huge plus.
So don't carve your topic in stone on day one.
Definitely not. They advise, rather than setting rigid boundaries, build a structure that can expand or narrow. Think of it like a framework, not a cage.
Okay.
Be ready to adjust if your data points another way, or if a conversation opens up a new angle. And they even say explicitly, if necessary, do not hesitate to reformulate your thesis title.
Your title can change.
Absolutely. It's a working title for a reason. It should reflect where the research actually ends up. Being open to change is just part of the process.
Wow. Okay, that's a comprehensive list. 10 really solid points to think through.
It really covers a lot of ground, doesn't it? From your own passion to the practicalities to the bigger picture.
It definitely reinforces what the source said at the start. This is strategic, it's demanding, it's way more than just picking something that sounds okay.
And these 10 points, taken together, they really give you a framework, right? It moves you beyond just, what am I interested in? It pushes you to think about sustainability, value, feasibility, strategy, all of it. It's a multifaceted decision.
Yeah, the source isn't just giving a checklist. It's giving a whole way to approach this first building block, as they call it.
Exactly. It's foundational.
And taking it seriously, using these points as a guide, it helps you manage it all in a more informed and strategic manner. Sets you up better.
Definitely. And I love their closing thought. They say the right topic not only paves the way for successful thesis writing, it also opens the door to a productive, motivated, and meaningful academic journey.
That's a great way to put it. It connects this one choice to the whole experience.
It's not just about the document, it's about the journey itself.
Absolutely. Finding something you can really sink your teeth into, contribute something meaningful, and maybe even use it to shape what comes next. So thinking about all these dimensions, passion, practicality, career, flexibility, it really makes you wonder, how does choosing this topic become less about what you study and maybe more about shaping who you become through the process? As a thinker, a researcher, a professional, which of these 10 points really hits home for you right now as you think about your own academic or professional path?
That's definitely something worth mulling over as you navigate this really critical stage.
Well, thanks for diving deep into this with us today. We really hope these insights drawn from that academic practices source give you a clearer framework and more confidence as you choose your topic.